Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Paul and Dave's Cochise County Sports Show in beautiful Sierra Vista Golf Center. Of course, this is brought to you by Synergy HomeCare, providing non-medical home care for people that struggle with activities of daily living, serving all of Cochise and Santa Cruz counties. Call them at 520-685-1035. Dave Davies stepping into the shot right now. You might have noticed we're live on Cool FM Live Sports. Don't worry, we're getting that figured out right now.
Oh, Zuckerberg.
No kidding, right? Dave Davies alongside Paul Quarter. Dave, we could not be more happy to be here. We've got a big show planned, but first, we talked about Synergy. We talked about the golf course. Let's talk about our other sponsor, Texas Roadhouse.
We had kids' night last night. We had firefighter night. It was an absolute blast. Every Monday is kids' night at Texas Roadhouse. Bring the kids in. If you get a meal for them, you're going to get a voucher for a free meal the next time you come into Texas Roadhouse. Also, as I tell you every week, we like to give stuff away around here. If you mention that you watch this show on Cool FM, you watch the Paul and Dave Sports Show, it's our ugly mugs, you get free fried pickles or free potato skins. I can't stress that enough. The only people that are taking advantage of this are busy people right now.
Really?
Yeah, it's the only people who are taking advantage of this. So, but yeah, we are here. Our football season has sadly concluded. We were hoping for some titles. We came pretty close, but our football season is concluded, so we're going to do a little recap of that. And you see the third chair over here. We threatened you. We have a special guest in the house today after we get through our football previews. That's going to be head coach Dennis Baker of the Buena Colts.
Dennis can come right in here. Dennis, this side. I got to go fix the camera anyway.
Come on in, Dennis. Come on in, Coach. 2-0, Coach Dennis Baker, I might add. Oh, morning.
Morning, brother.
How we doing?
Doing good.
So the 2-0 Buena Colts, but again, we are going to get to basketball in just a moment. Again, the Marine Academy Eagles played their final in the championship, and the Buena Colts played their quarterfinal game, and unfortunately, neither one of them were victorious.
So, yeah, we're going to start with the Marine Academy Eagles, who did lose 72-30 against Heritage Academy. A little bit closer of a contest than it was last time for Marine Academy, but unfortunately in the championship game could not go back-to-back. Congratulations, boys. Great season.
Hey, back-to-back title games. I mean, you can't win them all, you know?
Right.
You win one Super Bowl, you know, and then you lose in the second Super Bowl. They're the Chiefs. Congratulations. You know what I mean? Congratulations, Marine.
It is what it is.
We'll see you in the Super Bowl next year.
Before we get to the Buena Colts, Dave, we actually had April Krause reach out to us, and finally we have stats for the American Leadership Academy in Sierra Vista.
We heard about them all year.
So why not, right? Let's just go through them very, very quickly. Again, we got a big show to get through. I might have gone above and beyond with our basketball previews. I know Dave got a lot. And then, of course, we got head coach Dennis Baker right next to us, and we really want to talk Buena basketball,
we'll be talking Buena
basketball.
I did confirm yesterday with Cool FM we will be covering every Buena home game for the duration of this season.
All right, let's
go.
go.
Very good, very good. So let's start off with the American Leadership Academy. The American Leadership Academy was led by Tim Lee, who was the leading rusher and passer for the team. 4 rushing touchdowns, 296 yards. Also threw for 458 yards and 5 touchdowns on the season. Second leading rusher was Michael Trujillo. Michael Trujillo had 155 rushing yards on the season. Leading tackler for the American Leadership Academy was Deontay Echenal. I remember saying that name a few times. Also led the team with 2 forced fumbles. We had a couple people, Jaden Davis, Martin Federico had 2 fumble recoveries. Leading the team in interceptions is going to be 3 people. Tim Lee, obviously, is one of them.
Wish I would have heard that name all year. We could have been talking about Tim Lee.
Chase Sellers is another, and then Jaden Davis with interceptions on the season for the boys. And Deontay Echenal did have a return for a touchdown. I don't know if that's interception, punt return, or kick return, but the boys had a great season. And actually, their first year of existence made the postseason in the Canyon Athletic Conference. So thank you. Congratulations to ALA of Sierra Vista as well.
And let me know how the chat's doing, how the people are piling up. Folks, I am going to be giving away free golf today, by the way, as soon as we get some people into this thing. And it's basketball season, so it's going to be basketball trivia today. Coach, you're going to know the answer. Don't give it away.
Okay.
I will not know the answer.
You might know, only because I spent a decade talking about this person.
All right, because we're live on Cool FM Live Sports, it doesn't look like we're going to get our numbers this week, honestly, but maybe we don't give anything away because there's only a few people that notice we're here right now.
Oh, well, what? Zuckerberg.
I know, right? But anyway.
But this is on Cool FM, though.
Yeah, I did share it for sure.
All right, I'm going to ramble on while you make sure that we are on Cool FM right now.
We are. So let's get over to the Buena Colts. Trust me, we are. I've been sharing it for a few times now, trying to get everyone's news feed. Anyway, I mean, we have a good show. People got to see this one. Let's get over to the Buena Colts, the playoff football Buena Colts. They lost to the Verrado Vipers 41-26 in a shocking game at home. I think everyone was a little bit confounded about that one, a little confused.
The offensive and defensive line of Verrado was, there was no pressure.
Huge.
We got no pressure from the Buena Colts defensive line on the front seven. They ran the ball down our throat. Like they won that game in the trenches. Like they told us they would.
Synergy HomeCare says we are on, so everyone can see us. We're just not going to get the numbers this week again, but let's go over some stats. Cash Money Moore led the team all year, and that offense was high-flying and explosive. In this game, no different, 256 passing yards and a touchdown for Nash Moore. Scrappy ran the ball 19 times for 85 yards and a touchdown. Michael Luan, 15 times, 45 yards and a touchdown. The best receiver in Arizona, Jaden Thomas, 11 catches, 145 yards and a touchdown and a loss. That's crazy. T.J. Walker, second leading receiver, 3 catches for 59 yards. Going over to the defensive stats, Emmanuel Bacharski led the team with 10 tackles. T.J. Walker also contributed a forced fumble. Cooper Krause, second leading tackler with 9. Trenton Williams with 8. Charlie Price had a fumble recovery. And Andrew Ramsey, 2 for 2 on field goals, keeping it close as it could be. But that is the season for the Buena Colts. Good season. First playoff win since 1983. Congratulations to all of our postseason teams, Buena, Bisbee, Berrien, ALA, Wilcox, St. David, and I do believe that is it. Heck of a run, boys.
Yes,
Yeah.
great season by the Buena Colts.
Big time.
Again, they hadn't won a playoff game since '83. I mean, that's like Bisbee. It's the same thing where it's like that's a huge season for them. So congratulations, Buena. I mean, again, keep your heads up. You know what you did this year.
Well, with that, we officially turn the page on football. Not quite, because we're going to have recognition shows when they get in here. But we are here for our basketball preview. And what better team to start with than the Buena Colts? We have head coach Dennis Baker on here. Coach.
Yes, sir.
You might have heard of my all-Cochise team. I also made a preseason all-Cochise team that I think you're going to be very happy with.
Okay. Can't wait to see or hear that.
Well, again, as we talk about the other teams in basketball, any information you have, jump on in anytime.
Absolutely.
Anytime. Like,
Absolutely.
You know, not just Buena. I know you know a lot of these kids. So.
Yep.
And for sure. Let's start off with the Buena Colts here, Coach. You guys are 2-0. So it's not necessarily a preview. We got a
It's early.
It's early. Peek at the Buena Colts.
That's all that was. Yeah.
So I think we praise Jamin Booker enough on this show.
Is it Jamin? How do you pronounce it?
Jamin.
Okay.
Jamin.
I call him Jam. I've been calling him Jammin for years. So.
Well,
that's probably going to stick with him. I mean, that's how it's spelled,
I call it
actually.
Jammin, so we could say Booker jamming at home. It's
Right.
Just, this is what it is.
Right.
So we know all about Jamin Booker, who's going to probably win our Player of the Year, probably win 5A Player of the Year, all that stuff. Let's talk about some of the other role players. Like, for instance, I want to talk about 2 specifically. Jesus Pacheco has been a monster on the boards. I think he's had double-digit rebounds in both games so far this year. And you talked about Adam Nelson, and he's coming off an injury, but he is a defensive dog. And when he's on the court, you guys force a lot of turnovers. Who else do you think deserves some recognition? And can you talk about those 2 guys just a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, just let me talk about Jesus Pacheco. Zeus is what we call him and what he answers to. But and he's the captain of this team, so he leads the team in a lot of different ways. You pointed out his rebounding, but he's a scorer too. He does everything. He's a playmaker. He's going to give you assists. He's going to have high scoring nights. He's going to always be rebounding and defending and besides you highlighted Jamin, and he's a senior, and Jesus or Zeus, he's a senior. But all of our seniors right now all deserve a little bit of credit because they all contribute, and they all make our team as good as we are. So really, it's you talked about Sam Criado. He's the one that
what a shot,
big shot.
Shot Sam over there.
He's a senior. Also Kingston Clark. Yep. He's a senior leader for us that's going to do a little bit of everything. And, and then we have Adam that you mentioned, and we also have our big man Thomas. These are 2 juniors. And then Ricardo Brooks, who's a junior that was on the football team that wasn't with us the first couple of games, but he's going to be with us. Yeah, he's a good player all around. So really we have a really good group. It's, you mentioned Jamin possibly being a Player of the Year candidate, but really we have 3 or 4 guys that could win that that we hope to win that. So, yeah, we feel good about where we're at, and this senior group is leading the way.
Yeah, a lot of seniors on this team. Again, a lot of experience. Not the standard championship stuff. What are the expectations for this team right now? Like, what are we looking at?
Well, we expect to be champions.
There we go.
And some type of way, I honestly, that could be said tongue in cheek, and anybody can say that early preseason. But we've talked about it all year. We talked about it all summer, all spring, all fall. The guys have put a lot of work in. We talk a lot about being high character champions. Now, champions doesn't always mean you're going to win the state championship. We have a lot of minor steps that we need to take to get to that mountain, but we definitely want to be champions of this region. Starting off, and we're in some preseason tournaments. We want to win those. We want to be champions, and not just in on the court stuff, but off the court stuff. Our guys are involved in the community. Mm-hmm. We understand what it means to be a champion for your family, for your school, and for yourself. So. High character champions is what we're doing and what we're promoting and how we're moving every day is we're practicing, preparing, and playing like champions.
Speaking of that tournament, is that tournament in Buena this weekend?
No, it's in Coolidge.
Okay.
It's at Coolidge High.
We were prepared to cover that as well.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know if you guys are gonna go. No, it's at Coolidge High School. Yeah.
Okay. I was already prepared to cover that. You already covered Friday and Saturday if that was at Buena. That's why I meant to ask.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you have a 4-game tournament this weekend, 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Correct.
All right, let's talk a little bit about that roster, Coach. And this is something that I was surprised with. You talked about the seniors you had this year, but you didn't lose very many last year. And a couple of them were big-name players. Aguilar comes to mind.
Right.
Hawthorne as well comes to mind. But everyone that plays for you on this team had significant roles last year.
Right.
And so the maturity is there. And is that just something you see in the workouts? I know you talked a little bit about defensively you get after it in the summer. And maybe the offense isn't there right now, but, of course, that offense is going to come. We fully expect it to come. Is there – I don't think there's any leadership problems on this team. Can you talk to that?
No. We have strong senior leadership, and, these guys have varsity experience at this point because you're right because they were on the team last year. Not just on the team, but were contributors to the team last year. And you're going to have your – growing pains when guys are first getting their first experience and first crack at playing varsity basketball, but we're past that now.
Yeah.
These guys are seasoned at this point. They have great leadership within the players and within their own demographic and their own players only meetings and talks. They're in the right place and
already the mutiny has begun, huh, Coach?
In a good way. So no, the guys really want to win. And they showed that by the work that they put in the off season. So we're excited from top to bottom. Our rosters is as good as it's been in a while. So
I would agree with that, and especially like the big that you got inside, Thomas Welker, and like you said, it's going to be a process. But with this much talent and having so many different ways you can attack teams, I fully expect this offense to start clicking. This weekend, actually.
We need to talk to Sierra Vista Cooper Flag about getting that ball up immediately when it's in his hands. Because you know how it is with big men. You can't, as soon as that ball gets inside, you can't put that ball down. You got to go straight up with that ball. But
you already know we're on him about that.
Your team was telling me they call him the Sierra Vista Cooper Flag.
He's been big for us. Like literally, he's our tallest player. He's not very big. He's tall.
Yeah.
But
he's got to put on that much.
I'm
the same one.
With tall guys, it could be a challenge because they have to guard the other big guys, and some of those guys are truly big. So,
yes.
But
5'8", especially, yeah.
Well, and the big people, they don't really get away with if they're getting fouled on the inside, they kind of just let bigs go and hack, and that's what you want to play. Go play it.
It's a physical place down there.
So you talked a little bit about Kingston Clark, and this is somebody. Aside from Criado, but you said Kingston Clark in the preseason was your MVP. You want to talk a little bit about his development? And he was, again, he played big minutes for you last year, but you said he's taking that next step this season.
He's an energy guy. You'll see him out there. He's the one that's flying all over the court. And when he's engaged, he can be as good as any player in the region. He won MVP of a couple of the tournaments that we played in the off season.
Oh, nice.
That just shows. I mean, usually in some of these tournaments, which we were going outside of our region to play some of the bigger schools in Phoenix and stuff. So a lot of our off season we weren't in town, so we were playing in places that don't know us and don't know our players. And in those games, when we would win all those games and win those tournaments, they would name Kingston Clark the MVP. They're not really knowing about Jamin and Jesus and these. Well, they know about them, but that's just how well Kingston played.
Yeah.
So to know that he's on a team that also has those other guys, Jamin and Zeus. And,
well, he's definitely
and
a
these
rhythm
other
player.
guys.
Like he's definitely a momentum player. Like you can
For
see
sure.
that with Clark. Like if
For
he
sure.
gets going, like get out of his way.
Golden
For sure.
State Warrior style.
He's had games where he's made like 5 or 6 threes, and he's had games where he, scores 20 points, all of them being, driving to the basket. He's somebody that can defend their best player and do it all for us. So, and another senior too. So,
Well, let's talk about the deep. We were talking about the Ironwood Ridge game. It said 28 turnovers in that game. I mean, the defense is there. The offense again will come together, but that defense is already working for you.
yeah, for sure. We, Ironwood Ridge. It was a tough game for us. I think we got up
Early, yeah.
We were up. I would say comfortable, but we never really want to get comfortable in basketball.
No.
But
Because I was comfortable in that game, and then
Yeah.
they came back. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, this one's in the bag.
and that's just kind of how basketball is, and we want to be a team that knows how to handle adversity, because in basketball there's always going to be some adversity, right? You could be up by 10 points, and all it takes is them to make 2 threes in a row,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden everybody's a little shaky, a little nervous. They're a little bit more pumped up. Momentum kind of works that way, so usually the teams that win are the teams that handle those adverse situations the best. So, in all sports, you either win or you learn. When you lose, you say you learn, and anytime that you have an opportunity to learn and still get the win, we're gonna celebrate that. So that's what we're able to do.
I like that,
You,
Coach.
I'm not going to make it without water. I'm going to
Go ahead.
You keep talking to
So, Coach, I will say, as Dave knows and everyone knows, I'm a Chiefs fan. So if you could just blow some teams out, my heart can't take 2 of my favorite teams. It's always going down to the wire. But,
Yeah.
No, and so that's why I like that you said that you work on defense, and that's why I singled out Adam Nelson going all the way back from last year. I think him, and I told him Hawthorne and Nelson were the best defensive guard duo I think I've ever seen in my entire life. So defense, obviously, something that you work on, and you said you worked on it all season. So that's obviously a key for you. Defensively, how is it going in? Is it something where, I don't know, schematically you can help your players out, or is it just you got to have a few dogs that just want to get after it?
Well, both, I guess. You know what I mean? Obviously, having dogs helps and makes really all the difference. No matter what you have schematically, I tell our players all the time, no matter what we draw up offensively or defensively, nothing's going to impact winning or losing more than your own effort in doing these things. So when you have guys that have the ability to make plays and you put them in position to make those plays, we expect to make those plays. And that's kind of where we are defensively. Like you said, offensively, early season stuff it's always kind of tricky for all teams.
So I want to stop there because offensively, you guys have not looked bad. It's just been
Right.
It hasn't been continuous.
Right.
It's been up and down at times. But yeah, so I don't want to get that out there.
Yeah.
And I say all the time, I don't know about basketball. I know about every sport I played. Defense, rebounding, effort travels. Effort travels no
Right.
matter where you're at. The 3-ball might not travel, but effort travels.
Right.
Well, and something we talked about after the Ironwood Ridge game, and this is for the boys at home as well. We talk about playing too fast. You know what I mean? Like in basketball, you can really play too fast. You know what I mean? Where you got to really just get into that rhythm and stop. You know what I mean? Stop glitching. You know what I mean? And just really smooth it out offensively, and that's where that offensive cohesion comes, where everybody just sees things on the same level. You know, like
Right.
if you play offense correctly, you can do it with your eyes closed. You know what I mean? Like, you know who's cutting. You know where
Right.
it's going to be. You know, like,
Right.
I'm going to throw the ball to the high post, backdoor cut, on the screen. You know what I mean? Like, boom, boom, boom.
Right.
You know, so this is something I know that we had talked about a little bit after the Ironwood Ridge game, but the offense is
Yeah.
going to come together.
Yeah, definitely. And we're kind of on the flip side of that. We feel like we need to play faster. We want to be fast.
Transition.
When we look at the film and we study our turnovers, a lot of times we turn the ball over when we slow it down. When we go slow.
Okay.
There's a little bit of an offensive advantage of looking to score before the defense is set. versus trying to run your best stuff against their best defense and efficiency, how that
Or
works.
you're trying to eliminate the half-court game and just more of a
Not completely eliminate it, but we want to see if – look, it's no secret. We're not the biggest team, and we play in a big region. We play 5A basketball.
Yes, sir.
You know, it'd be a little different if we were in 4A, 3A, something like that. So in the big leagues or in this, especially when you get into the playoffs and stuff like that, we're small. They're going to look – we're a small team. So our advantage is our speed, our quickness, and being able to neutralize the size of other teams with our pace and our space and stuff like that. A lot of times if we get too slow and too stagnant, then our lack of size can show itself a little bit more.
Sure.
So we want to get out and run. We want to see if teams can run with us. We want to see if teams can come out to Sierra Vista with the elevation and handle 38 minutes of running up and down the floor all night
with that
us.
crazy butt student section just
Right.
right in your face.
You know what? I'm a little behind on this because I meant to open the show with this. But again, folks, just so you know, going into my diatribe today, I'm going to ruffle some feathers today, okay? Sorry, see me just a moment, Coach, because this goes back to the first game of that basketball season as well. The Buena Colts, you won your first football game since 1983. You had a second-round playoff game in Sierra Vista, Arizona. Do we know what the population of Sierra Vista is?
50,000?
Almost 50,000, 48,000.
That stadium was half full in that game, okay?
There's more than that.
Community, you need to get out of here and support your student athletes right now. That Buena home game, that first basketball home game, I want to see that gym packed. Okay, we need our home field advantage. Now you talked about student section, all that. I want that gymnasium packed every time. Buena only has 7 home games left this year. I want 2,000 people in that gym every time they play a game. I just want you to know. I want the support for Buena to be overwhelming when you get to that basketball gym.
Amen.
I
Preach.
want a home
Preach.
field advantage.
Preach.
No, it's like
Preach.
I'm going to be honest with you. We were top of the booth on the home side of that Buena football game, and we could hear the Verado fans more than we could hear the Buena fans.
Well,
and I'm like, come on, Buena. I want home field advantage.
They probably had a little bit more to cheer about.
I didn't want to say it. Thank you for saying it,
But
Coach
I'm
Baker,
just saying, I want
and
that Buena gym packed.
not being so aggressively confrontationally about it.
Have you met me?
No, but it is one of the reasons that we started this. And when we started broadcasting, no matter where we went, there's not a lot of support. And then we learned about all these teams, especially we talk about the St. David Tigers all the time. That's a team that gets no
coverage,
now
not a lot of hype.
That's a team that gets no support from the community. Yeah. Like, they are state champions all the time.
Yeah.
And then
another one, their home playoff game.
I'll give you a story. One of my friends, she actually sponsors us. Her name's Alex. She's from Cass. Anyway, she wanted to bring senior night. She wanted to bring her husband, who's never been into high school sports and stuff. She went to Tombstone High School to Buena's. Like, at senior night, it's going to be packed, and she said it wasn't packed, and she said it was kind of depressing. So, anyway, long story short, one of the reasons we started this show is to grow support in the community for high school sports, because there's crazy talented athletes everywhere.
Well, you also got to understand, too, that the platform that you provide also gives people an out to show up, too, because I know a lot of people that are like, hey, going to the football game or watching it at home and
there's so many people that do both.
Okay. Yeah. No excuses on that, because we have people in Bisbee, Arizona that will have us up while they're at the game. So,
I would much rather the fans come to the game than watch. But, yeah, if you can't make it, then obviously watch. But, yeah, you're right. We do need to increase our support for, especially when these teams are good. We have too many teams playing postseason sports.
Oh, yeah.
To not, take advantage and really just take a step back and look at how good we are at athletics.
We played basketball games 5 and 6 years ago where that gym was packed. And there was a true home field advantage. If you have a packed gymnasium, you're up 5 points before that game starts. That's what we need to get in Buena High School.
I agree. I'm with that. I second that.
All right, thank you, Coach, for the interview section.
If you jump in this chat and let us know that you're here, I'll give something away, just so you know. By give something away, I mean free golf. I have a trivia question. I know Barbie Knight.
Somebody
really
better jump on that.
Don't worry about the trivia. We're not going to get anyone watching live. We had to go live on Cool FM Live Sports, folks, and it's terrible because this is our first guest since preseason football. But it is what it is. I'm sure everyone will start watching.
We'll get the views,
eventually, but not live. So it's pointless to sit here and try to do
Well, you know what? Then I'm going to ask Coach a trivia question then.
Okay.
Coach, what NBA player has won the most Sixth Man of the Year awards?
I got
It's my
to
favorite player
guess.
that ever lived.
Jamal Crawford.
Paul Crawford, baby.
Yeah.
Seattle, Washington.
Okay.
Excuse my co-broadcaster. He's a Crawford Glazer.
Blazer.
Golly.
So
Anyway.
if you didn't know this, Jamal Crawford is also he had the NBA record for
Most
teams.
3-point. Oh,
no, most
Go ahead.
teams that he scored 50 points in a game or more for
True.
at 4 until he
True.
played 3 months for the Suns and did it again. So he's actually done it for 5 teams, and he also has the most 4-point plays in NBA history.
Those are good stats, and thank you, Coach, for
Jamal
joining us
Crawford.
for our interview section. Now we're going to go
Yes,
ahead and
sir.
jump
Yes,
in.
sir.
We have basketball to get
Coach
through.
gets free golf.
For sure, if
I'll
you
take
want.
it.
We'll go out. We'll go out right now.
I'll
They don't
just tell him
care.
to bring his clothes. I forgot those.
So we're going to go ahead. We have women's and men's basketball to get to. Also, a new team joining us in Cochise County for varsity basketball, the San Simone Longhorns. They had a JV team last year, nothing on them, but welcome, boys and girls. If you watch the show, you're going to get on this one. But let's start with the Buena Colt boys basketball, head coached by Dennis Baker right next to us. Last year, Coach, you guys went 16-10. You lost Aguilar. You lost Hawthorne, 2 biggest players. The other big with the glasses. Sergio. I keep saying Spencer. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But you have Devin Booker, who's a top player.
Jamin Booker. Not Devin
I
Booker.
wish we had
Jim-
Devin.
Yeah, we had Devin Booker. We won the whole thing.
I'll be honest with you. Jamin's probably better. But again, we talked about it. You're a tough team. Give a lot of effort. And spoiler, you said earlier that you guys' expectations is championship, not necessarily state. But talk a little bit more about your team for anyone that's tuning in and the expectations you have for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, like I said, we have championship expectations because we have championship players, and we want to be a championship program. And like I said, that doesn't necessarily mean we're saying our goal is to win a state championship, something that's never been done before. We're just saying how we carry ourselves on a day-to-day basis is championship style, championship level of preparation and practice, and our guys have accepted that over the last year. And so, our goals are to win our region, be champions of this South Region 5A basketball. And then with that, our goal comes to host playoff game, bring playoff basketball back to Buena, back to Sierra Vista. We want to win from there and win multiple playoff games. So our guys know, our players and our coaches know what our goals are, I guess, like quantitative, but really it's about a day-to-day approach on how we're going about our business.
Right, Buena basketball is big business. I mean, it's been that way around here for a very, very long time. They played against Sean Elliott at one point.
Yeah.
Well, Dave, let's get over to the ladies team.
They didn't have as much success last year, 7-15, but they did come out 1-1 this year. I'm just going to have players to watch for all these teams right now, but until somebody else in Buena shows me differently, and they will. London Richardson is going to be the player for the Buena
She's a
Colts
baller.
that you really, really want to keep an eye on this year. Again, they're 1-1 already, 7-15 last year, so 1-1 is a good start for the Buena Lady Colts. And as we get to know you more and more, we're going to do our best to get to some Buena ladies games when Buena's on the road. But as we get to know you more and more, we'll start knowing more about your players, and we'll. But again, to get started, London Richardson's going to be your Buena Lady Colt to keep an eye on.
She's a baller.
Yeah, and they're bringing back a lot. I was looking at they have 1, 2, 3,
Isis
4, 5
Perez.
seniors. A lot of
Keep your eyes on Maya
Ariel
Jimenez.
Encinas.
My girl is on the team. Kashari Baker, Bullard Baker. She's on the team.
All right, let me go ahead and revise this women's all coach.
Hey, no, they've got some. They got some players.
Yeah, a lot of seniors for the Buena Lady Colts this year, so we're expecting big things. Again, playoff basketball. And while we're here, now what we have talked about may be the best team in Cochise County this year. That's going to be the Douglas
Lady Bulldogs.
They're good.
That is something. That is a team that you need to keep an eye on. I actually forgot. I went back and revised my schedule yesterday to make sure I had a couple of Douglas games in there because Scarlett Ruiz is a monster.
Francia Rubio, and they have I think Pena or something's leading the stats this year. It's crazy.
Yeah, they went 23-6 last year. They're already 1-0. So Douglas, you will be seeing us for basketball season. I promise.
Maybe
we gotta
tonight.
get our eyes on the Lady Bulldogs.
I wouldn't sleep on Tombstone Girls either.
Oh no! Well, we're getting the Tombstone.
We'll get over to the Douglas boys team. They went 10-14 last year, but they're returning a lot of everybody. They only lost one player, Trahin Quijada, but they return everyone, led by superstar Diego Lopez, who was a sophomore last year, junior.
Woo.
And just
2
like
more years of that kid.
Coach
Woo.
was saying, I think the biggest challenge for the Douglas boys is going to be their size. But again, 10-14 last year, almost into the playoffs, and they might get there this year. Speaking of great ladies teams, we're going to go over to the boys team first, but the St. David Tigers lost no seniors. Gannon Carafa, I did learn, was hurt last year, so 6'5" Gannon Carafa will be playing this year for St. David.
St. David's a factor.
They have twin towers. Keston Richardson's like 6'3", 6'4". You saw him playing football. They towered over everyone on that field.
Yeah, I saw him in Denny's.
Head coach Tyler Denenworth.
And I'm tall, and I saw like in Denny's, and I was like,
But St. David was 6-16 last year. Of course, 2 years ago, the Richardsons, Gooding, every single they had 13 seniors on that basketball team, state runners up, and obviously the boys didn't play a lot this year. No excuses for the St. David boys team, and they're not going to have any. They're going to get to the postseason, no problem.
And I know during football season, a lot of our St. David fans got used to the St. David Power Hour. Well, guess what? We're back because the defending state champions, St. David girls, 29-2 last year. We were there in Goodyear, Prescott, Arizona, to call that title game. They are bringing back everybody except for one. They lost one of the Hawkeyes. Who else did they lose?
Mela Trejo.
Oh, Trejo. But, okay, they lost one of the Hawkeyes, and they got 4 more where she came from. But, yeah, so the St. David, you're the team that's going to get more than one name here. Emma Hart, Emlyn Hawkes, Gracie Crockett, Maya Denowith, Regan Haney. We expect another title from the St. David ladies.
Emma Hart was a freshman.
She was a
starting point guard.
Cold freshman.
Won the state championship
As a freshman.
State title. We were there. I'm not a big smile ear-to-ear guy, but you just could, when the coach cut that net, you're like, woo! That was the first title game we ever got to do.
Well, let's talk about one of the other top teams in Cochise County, Dave, the Tombstone Lady Yellow Jackets. I'm sorry, you're eating my. I didn't know you had ice in your mouth.
It's just a piece of ice. It's fine. No, again, as Coach mentioned, one of the other teams that we're going to be really keeping an eye on this year are the Tombstone Lady Yellow Jackets. 18-12 last year. They haven't played yet this year. We have Tombstone on our schedule 3, 4, 5 times, so we're going to be seeing a lot of the Lady Yellow Jackets. Rachel Thursby and Brianna Schuler. We know what you are. We can't wait postseason or bust for the Lady Yellow Jackets.
Don't forget about Brooklyn Penrose, who came alive.
There's a lot of them.
Towards the end.
We'll get over to these ladies. We'd be here all day.
They're good. Tombstone boys too. I think they the Tombstone boys football team had a lot of those this really big senior class this year that brought a lot of talent, and that's they were able to turn their program around and have success. And those same boys a lot of those are the basketball players. So this is that senior year for that class. That's actually pretty good. So keep an eye out for the boys on Tombstone.
He's already a professional media person. As we transition over to the Tombstone Yellow Jackets, 7-17 last year. I still have Tommy Valenzuela. Shout out Coach Valenzuela as their head coach. They did lose the Matrix, Malachi Keller.
My favorite basketball coach you could have.
And
I'm kidding with you, Coach.
Malachi Keller had 20 points per game, so that's going to be tough to replace. But like you're talking about, Coach, we have Kobe Collins, senior point guard. Shout out Sylvia. And Hunter Gracemore, I think, was a person that we saw, player that we saw in person that really surprised us. Not the biggest kid on the court, but he was in there.
He's a dog.
Body. He played like a football player. Is what I kept saying.
He plays basketball like a football player. Yeah.
He is a football player too.
I love physicality in all sports, and especially in basketball, because it's seen as kind of a not physical sport. I was
kidding with you. I love you.
No, they have a few seniors on that team. DeAndre.
Isn't Rawthorne on that team this year?
Tombstone?
Yeah.
Rawthorne's in. So DeAndre's in Cochise College. D'Angelo, you were telling me
I was talking about a different DeAndre. This is I can't think of his last name right now, but I know he's a senior that he's playing.
We should have printed off rosters.
Yeah.
Oh well.
But no, they have some seniors that can play, and they've been sticking with the program for multiple years now, and that consistency with Coach V will start to show some positive results.
Coach Baker's got some high expectations for them Yellow Jackets
over
there.
No, not high expectations. Just to they're gonna. I expect them to have success.
I love it.
And Coach Valenzuela does pull double duty. I'm pretty sure he's still the boys basketball coach or the girls basketball coach as well.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot on his plate.
He was running back and forth between those teams.
Yeah.
I think I'm with Coach Baker. I have expectations for all our teams at all times. Like I can always see the positive signs and everything.
Well, we've lived up to it for the most part. There's a lot of playoff football and playoff sports in general around here. So
yeah, no, Cochise County has gotten fun.
Yeah.
We'll get over to Tombstone's bitter rival, the Bisbee Pumas. We'll start with the boys team. Head coached by Mike Hernandez, 18-10 last year. No secret, it's going to be a tough task for the Bisbee Pumas as they lose 7 seniors led by Jose Mendez, who I've said is the best basketball player I've seen in person, somebody that could just score no matter who's around him. Never seen anything like it. But they do have Sebastian Lopez, and the question for the Bisbee Pumas, Dave, who's the second person to step up? Is it going to be Hunter Wright? Are we going to see Diaz Lopez? You can't replace Jose Mendez, so you got to figure out how to play without him.
All high schools have to deal with this in every program. You can't replace number 3. Bisbee has just lived off of that kid for years now, but we see the athleticism of Sebastian Lopez as the instinctual play of him. He's going to have to take over. We don't know who the second guy is. We got to go watch some Bisbee games. You know, they don't have the Loyas anymore. Like, they don't have a lot of those players that have been around that program for a long time. Anthony Molina ain't there anymore. So we're going to find out. It's going to be the Lopez show until otherwise dictated. So we don't know enough about the Bisbee Pumas. They lost everybody, basically.
You said they lost 7 seniors?
Seven seniors.
Yeah, including number 3, yeah.
So
Did you
Jose,
get to watch Mendez play last year?
Yeah, I've watched them play a few years.
he had a
yeah,
few
so-
moments where it gave me chills.
Oh.
They had their
Oh,
gymnasium
I love me some
flooded because of pipe burst, and they had to play at Cochise College. And so the whole team came out. He in front of the whole team because he was just whopping 3 balls. 2 people jump out at him, foul him, and he makes the 3 ball, and
Yeah.
the team picks him up. And it was
Yeah.
it was a moment for sure.
Yeah.
But we're going to learn a lot about Bisbee as they go.
Well,
Again,
let's learn about the girls team.
Well, again, that girl, we know about the girl team runs through Alyssa Lopez. Last year, she went crazy. They went 8-14 last year. They're already 2-0. They are coached up in Bisbee. The girl again, they lost a lot of seniors coming off the Gabby Lopez loss. They had to rebuild their program. They're back already.
Well, don't sleep on Yasleen Hernandez. We did their games.
Yasleen Hernandez. We're going to be seeing a lot of the Bisbee Lady Pumas this year, but they are well coached over there. Already 2-0.
And Alyssa Lopez is sophomore now this year.
I believe she's only a sophomore. Yes,
It's crazy.
but the Bisbee Lady Pumas are right back in business again. When you lose a Gabby Lopez, it takes a year to rebuild the program. When you live through a singular player,
And don't forget, they were winless for a long time, and towards the last half of the season, they actually had a winning record. They put it together.
Expect big things this year out of the Lady Pumas.
Shout out athletic director Courtney Borges. I think she's still coaching the team.
Yeah. Again, they're well coached. Expect big things out of them. A team that did have a winning record last year would be the Lady Bobcats. 14-13 last year. They haven't played yet, but they have what might be the best player in the county,
Kaylee Taylor. Nailed it.
The Benson Lady Bobcats are going back to the postseason.
Well, Benson,
under
it was
the shoulders of Kaylee
Benson.
Taylor.
It was Trinity Foy, and I can't remember the other lady, the senior, but it was Kaylee Taylor. And those two were the big 3, and those two actually blew their ACLs out. I
They
believe.
didn't have them all at the same time. Like they didn't have their big.
And
3
so,
on the floor.
and we watched a lot of Benson, and anytime we're sitting there watching Benson, it's Kaylee Taylor just trying to put the team on her back. Now, we'll see. Aubrey Moon was started to develop towards the end last year, so I expect her to continue that development. But yeah, Benson's the Kaylee Taylor show. Going over
the basketball team again, they lost a lot of players on the boys' side. So I mean, again,
they
that's gonna be
not a
new-look
lot.
team.
They didn't lose a lot. However, the
lost
Benson
big ones.
Bobcats, head coached by Alex Montillo, 13-16 last year, lost 2 big ones, literally 2 big ones, and their biggest players, Keelan Payne, who was 6'4". Talk about bigs, like he was built, and of course, superstar Dalton Crockett. But they do bring back Dawson Judd. Dominic V, remember, was our old Cochise starting point guard last year. So they do have a great guard duo, but how do you replace the inside of Payne? Because Benson was a team
Boy,
very,
Payne was fun.
very streaky at shooting. If they could hit, they could hit. Sometimes it wouldn't connect, and they just throw it into Crockett and Payne and let them go to work on the inside. They don't have that anymore, so we're going to have to see how the Benson Bobcats
Another
adjust.
new look team, just like Bisbee. We're going to learn a lot.
It's
about
high school
them as
sports.
we go.
Everyone's going to be new look.
Oh, Keelan Payne.
That part.
Oh, I'm going to miss that kid.
That
pack
part.
it up, pack it in.
House
That
of
kid
Pain,
was-
bringing
House
the
of
pain.
Man, that kid was good.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to miss him.
Yeah.
So-
You know, it's like that with every team. Like you
Yeah,
said, in
you
high
gotta
school,
replace.
every team is trying to reload or rebuild, and some of these teams, and you mentioned some of these players that are moving on, and maybe they were leading the team in scoring. That gives a lot of opportunity
Yep.
for other guys or girls, and sometimes you can get a little bit of a addition by subtraction. Sometimes I think even with the is it Bisbee that lost?
Lopez?
Yes, like
Or Mendez, sorry.
Mendez. That's a lot of offensive production, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be made up by just one player.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes if you can spread that out between spread it out between 2 or 3 players, and sometimes you can even be a better team. Or it doesn't necessarily, not disrespectful to that great player, because like you said, it's hard to replace a great player, and many times you don't.
Yeah, but you're right,
With just another guy,
game that are going to go somewhere else.
they have to go somewhere else.
They have to go
somewhere else if you're gonna, at least match what you did last year. And every coach's goal is to be better than you were last year. And if you have a player like that you miss, you look overall at your team. Were we happy with our record? Were we happy with where we ended? Then and how can we be better? And if we're gonna lose that kind of point production, let me flip this and try to make it a positive. Maybe we can be a little bit more balanced now. Maybe we can get other guys involved now, and you start finding out guys that had the ability to score that maybe they just didn't have the opportunity as much before.
I think also, and you guys can attest to this because I was never a short, fat, white guy, never been a basketball player, but it seems like in basketball, if you do have that superstar, a lot of times people just throw in the ball and say, figure it out. And now that's not
especially
the case
if that guy's a star and he's a senior. And the hierarchy of the game is he's going to get the ball and shoot the shots. And most of the time, like if that guy's really, if he can back it up, then coaches are going to be fine with that too. Hey, go score for us. But yeah, it does leave a void when that player moves on. That other guys are going to have to step into, and you want them to be confident enough to do that. And sometimes that can be a struggle early on in the season while you're trying to figure things out.
Well, speaking of trying to figure it out, Wilcox Cowboys, Dave, lost Lane Wetton. He was a big boy. That boy was 6'5" as well. Head coached by Farbod Savafi. Sorry. They went 10-18 last year. They did lose Lane Wetton and Jacob Kaufman, but they have the other of the Twin Towers in Wilcox. Caden Hooper does return. They do have younger players. Ty Scholl's going to be. We'll have to see what role he's in.
Ty Scholl messaged me yesterday. He's like, "Are you going to broadcast some Wilcox games?" I'm like, "Ty, of course we're going to broadcast a Wilcox game." Gosh, I love that kid.
Yeah, just as soon as you come down to Bisbee and Tombstone, games that aren't an hour.
We have 2 Wilcox home games on the
I was
schedule.
kidding. I
wrote down the schedule. I got 2 Wilcox games on there. We are going to Wilcox a couple of times. Everybody's getting the love this year.
I'm sure you could catch them at Tombstone a couple times too, right?
No, but Coach, I'm going to let you know. So these are home games. I have 3 Wilcox games, 3 Bisbee games, 3 Tombstone games, 3 Benson games, and all 7 Buena games are on the schedule, baby.
Okay.
So you know.
Okay.
Buena, I told Buena we were coming. We're coming, baby, in a big way.
Perfect. Not to put any extra pressure on you, Coach, but the reason we did that is because we fully expect the Buena Colts to be the best basketball team this year.
Hey, we will gladly accept that responsibility. And,
that's why we
understand the responsibility that comes with that.
Come basketball season, that's Paul and Dave's gym. We're going to be hand in hand with the Buena Colts. But just everybody's getting a fair share of love. St. David's on there twice, Douglas is on there twice, but Buena, we're going to be there.
Let's
God bless you guys for doing this for us.
It's actually very fun for us to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like today, I'm sitting there wondering, do I really want to make the hour-long trip to Douglas, Arizona? But when you get there, it's just it's all nothing but love.
Driving is the work. The game part is easy.
Yeah.
And let's see.
Cowgirls.
Cowgirls. Another one of our superstar players. They went 11-16 last year. They're already 1-0 this year. Another one of our superstar players,
Maddie Bennett. What? Mia's gone.
What? That said she was a junior.
Maddie Bennett's the junior, brother.
Mia's gone?
Pretty sure.
Well, I looked. Max Prep failing me. They told me that she was a senior.
Maybe she is a junior. Maybe it failed me. You never know.
No, it said that she's a senior this year. That's what I thought. Mia McGarro was back this year.
Maybe she is. Maybe she isn't. Either way, Maddie Bennett or Mia
McGarro. I'm sure you're going to find out.
How about the Seahawks?
But yeah, the Cowgirls. That's I don't know what it is at Wilcox. It's size. Boys and girls, they just have size, and I'm excited for Wilcox softball in a few years when we get to see Superstar, the Little League Softball World Series.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Hattie the Batty. Hattie
McCumber. Cash's little sister. I'm pretty sure.
And the last, again, I don't have. If this reaches anybody at San Simone or ALA, please message Dave Davies on Facebook. Tell me more about your girls' teams because I don't have any information on them.
Max Preps. Just put it all on Max Preps.
Yeah,
I told this
to Max Preps. My last one, the Marine Academy Lady Eagles. They went 9-4 last year. Kami Chow is going to be the lady to watch for the Marine Academy Lady Eagles. They haven't played yet this year, but we'll learn more about them as they do.
The boys' team for Breen won 1 game last year, so it's going to be a struggle for them. I know the person that had all their stats was a senior. He's gone. I know Isaac Merrill's probably going to play, but I don't have anyone for them.
Again, if you want us to talk about you got to provide us with the
Don't
information.
forget about the Valley Union
gold out of our butts.
The Valley Union Blue Devils, Dave, head coach, the boys by Bill Hahn, 5-13 last year. I didn't see Dylan Mitchell on the roster this year, so I don't think he's playing. And then Landon Glenn is also gone.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised, another 6'6" kid and one head coach.
25 and 12 kid.
Yeah,
out of Valley Union.
But unfortunately for the Valley Union Blue Devils, it looks like for the first 2 games it's going to be a struggle all season for them. Good luck to the Blue Devils. And
maybe not for the girls, because they were 13-17 last year. They're 1-1, and they have Lexi Boss.
And I do know ALA of Sierra Vista, coached by Jeremy Rhodes. I think he said coach. That's what he told me. But coached by Jeremy Rhodes, won their first game, so congratulations on that, boys. But
we know Jeremy knows his hoops.
I told him, well, does he? Because I told him to put everything in max preps, and he didn't. So here we go.
He knows hoops. He doesn't know the computer.
The admin.
He's old like me. I mean, maybe he doesn't know how to use the fancy computer boxes.
Well, that's going to do it for our rundown of every team this year. Dave, before we get to you, I've got a few teams that I want to talk about. I have an all-Cochise preseason team. I have 3 teams. Let's run by them real quick. We'll start with the ladies because, again, I want to keep Coach Dennis Baker waiting just a little bit.
He's got more important fish to fry than us.
No, you're good. Go with it.
Our starting 5, our first team is going to be Rachel Thursby from the Tombstone Yellow Jackets, Scarlett Ruiz from the Douglas Bulldogs, Kaylee Taylor from the Benson Bobcats.
That's our center right there. Kaylee's our center.
Gracie Crockett from the St. David Tigers and Isis Perez from the Buena Colts.
Okay, Isis.
Yeah. Is it Isis?
Isis, yes.
Okay, because I put the C in there every time.
Yeah.
Not done with the Buena Colts as we go over to our second team, May Jimenez from the Buena Colts. And this is, if I didn't see their stats for the first 2 games, she's putting up 20 points a game. I'm like, okay, she can get in here now too.
Okay.
Emmeline Jaquez from the St. David Lady Tigers, Lexi Boss from the Valley Union Blue Devils, Maddie Bennett from the Wilcox Cowgirls, and Francia Rubio from the Douglas Lady Bulldogs.
Okay.
Rounding out our third team is going to be Yasleen Hernandez and Alyssa Lopez from the Bisbee Pumas, Brooklyn Penrose from the Tombstone Yellow Jackets, Dana Pena from the Douglas Lady Bulldogs again. Thank goodness for the first 2 games. I wouldn't have seen her. And like you said, San Simone, Holly Kiel is our third team. So San Simone gets 1.
Right. Now, again, these are just preseason, so if you want to be in
these are projections.
If you want to be in the postseason, then you ball, you get the call.
You get the call. Dave, any surprises for you?
No. No, you nailed just about everybody. What about London Richardson?
London Richardson from the Buena Colts. So I thought about it, but then I put
I think you got May
Keel from San Simone on there instead.
All right. Well,
so it was one of those things where Buena didn't have the record last year to warrant 3 players.
Gotcha.
It's a rich tapestry, Coach.
Gotcha.
You got it. It was a rebuilding program.
I was going to put
Lady Culture back.
London Richardson was actually on my first team before I put Perez up there. And then I was like, you know what? But again, like Dave said, you ball, you get the call. I mean, we had on our old Cochise football team the 3 best teams, or the 3 furthest teams, the Bisbee Pumas, the Buena Colts, and the St. David Tigers, each had 8 players on it. So
as they should,
exactly.
If you
See, rich tapestry. I know what I'm doing. It's not. I'm not throwing names out there.
Yeah.
Come on now. Let's get over to the boys, where you guys are going to be a little bit more familiar. We're going to start off with Dominic Villa from the Benson Bobcats, Diego Lopez from the Douglas Bulldogs. Junior this year, Sebastian Lopez from the Bisbee Pumas at forward, and then we have our Buena Colt powerhouses, Jamin Booker and Zeus Pacheco, rounding out our first team, all preseason, all Cochisian team.
This is like Buena, like it might not have the size, but boy, you throw me that 5, and I can do some work with that 5.
Right. We're not wrong about that. Size is going to be in our second team as we have Adam Nelson from the Buena Colts leading us off, Dawson Judd from the Benson Bobcats, Gannon Carafa from the St. David Tigers, which is interesting because he didn't play last year. This is how much faith I have in him. That's just talking to the people of St. David.
Might be the biggest team in Cochise County.
They could be.
They're 1A.
Kid and Hooper from the Wilcox Cowboys, and Kingston Clark rounds out our second team for the Buena Colts. And rounding out our third team is going to be led by Kobe Collins of the Tombstone Yellow Jackets.
Kobe.
Right?
Kobe.
With a name like Kobe, you just have to put him on there.
He's a firecracker on the court, man. He's our new Anthony Molina.
He's got the best afro in Cochise County. For sure.
He definitely got that. He definitely got that.
I know his mom. Shout out Sylvia.
Yeah.
Chase Pacheco from the St. David Tigers. That might be a little interesting. That's just a person I saw last year when they were struggling. He was really balling. Hunter Gracemore from the Tombstone Yellow Jackets. Keston Richardson for the St. David Tigers. And Ryan Felix from the Douglas Bulldogs. So Douglas getting 2 players, both sophomores last year, juniors this year.
Yeah.
4 for the Buena Colts.
Oh, again,
I like it.
The Lady Bulldogs and the Lady Yellow Jackets. I mean, as far as the girls go, I'm going to be keeping my eye on y'all this year.
Yeah.
And the Lady Colts as well. Because, again, they've got 6 seniors coming back for that team. So
I feel like we've been on for a little bit here, Dave. You want to give a little bit of – we'll run down questions you got for me. We can get right to your diatribe.
Yeah, we'll get to this quickly here. All right. So, all right, again, this is off the top of your head. There was madness in the NFL last Sunday. Which one of those games was the one that, raised your eyebrows? Because there was a lot of them. You can say whatever you want. I don't care if you say your team.
No. Cowboys, Redskins.
The Cowboys game was nuts.
Commanders.
Did you see that? Commander, sorry.
Yeah.
There's a native.
I'm a Cowboy fan. I'm a Cowboy fan, so I saw it.
Wild.
So you hate me because I've been.
When Turbin put the spin move on him on the 6
That was wild. That was crazy.
Oh, and then Scary Terry. If you're that kicker, don't even go in the locker room.
Man.
Just put on a jersey and walk out the stage and take off your pads. I'm just a fan. Because you run that 86-yard miracle play like that, you're going to miss the extra point.
Terrible. Well, I mean, I'm a Cowboy fan. I've been feeling terrible all season. And that win was bittersweet because I don't understand if we're tanking what we can't even do that, right? Like, come on,
You're not wrong.
we've already
State, they could probably look really good in a Cowboy uniform right now.
We've already accepted that this season is not good. Like once we've come, and Cowboy fans, it's hard for us to accept that, right? But once we've accepted that, it's
every
time.
Season's your year.
Why would you start winning games now just so that we can?
So it's not. It's a little bit tougher in basketball. So you can't sit there and tell someone not to give effort on a football field because the film doesn't lie. And what you put on film is who you are. So there's a lot of people that, if the front office wants it to happen, IR is available. Like they can put their best players out.
Right.
But at the same time, if you're a football player, you're not playing necessarily for that job, but you're playing for a job.
Right. So you can't blame the players for playing to win. And I feel like the Cowboys were doing that. I mean, Dak Prescott's not playing. We have a lot of other guys injured and not playing.
I think that's
this is your way of tanking.
That's going to be the biggest challenge for the Dallas Cowboys is the contracts that they're stuck in now.
Yeah.
And you got CD. This goes all the way back to when you were trying to give me crap, Dave, for trading Tyreek Hill. I said you can't have a top wide receiver and a top quarterback.
Correct.
And now you got Micah Parsons
and not win.
coming up.
You're not going to win.
It's just a lot for the Cowboys. They have a lot of work that they have to get done in the draft.
Yeah.
But maddening week. I was definitely the game that stood out to me. And there was a lot of crazy games.
Yeah.
But let's go into what made it such a maddening week. This happens to us about every 6 years. What is going on with the kickers in the NFL right now? Kai Fairbairn breaks the record for most 50-yard plusers and then misses a 26-yard chip shot to put him into overtime. Brandon Aubrey missed 2 field goals this week. What is going on with the kickers?
And that was odd. That's odd for him.
He's been saying for years, watch out for Brandon Aubrey. Or not years, but this year.
No, he's been the best. He's been the Cowboys' best player all year. Like that. So it has been weird. I don't know if it's the weather changing or
Justin Tucker turned into the worst kicker in the league.
Well,
exactly.
he shouldn't have picked a fight with Travis Kelce. That was his problem. But no, and I do think the weather has a little bit to play with it. I just want to go back to the beginning of when kickers were making everything, and the NFL's thinking about shrinking goalposts and stuff like that. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. In my
give
entire
it time.
life.
Give it time.
Give it some time. The weather's going to play.
Extra points missed this weekend.
But here's the thing about
you got to let the mental part play.
It's all mental with kickers. Kicking is a mental thing. Golf is a mental thing. Sometimes when you're feeling yourself, you forget your techniques. Or sometimes when the moment's too big, if you're putting for a birdie and you haven't had a birdie putt in 3 months, you're never going to make it because the moment's too big.
You got fire bullets at me?
It's not at you. It's at every golfer in America.
No, it is different. It's the mental part of
it is.
Early season field goals aren't the same as mid to late season playoff field goals. So
and they were going to sneak out another win, and it was for the division and this, that, and the third, but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
All right, and last question. I mean, I don't know if it's a question, but just something that we should be discussing, and it's not like a name that everybody doesn't already know. Our U of A Wildcats lost to Duke. Cooper
Yeah.
Flag has arrived. The Cooper Flag
Cooper
show
Flag
is
or
very
Boyness
real.
Cooper Flag? What are we talking
The
about?
Cooper Flag show is very, very real. Have you gotten your eyes on any of this yet?
Coach has.
I have. I've been watching him since he was in high school
Yeah,
last
oh, yeah.
year. He's started getting a lot of hype.
One of the best high school teams of all time. They had 8 D1 recruits off that team.
Yeah. I don't even think they lost a game, and they play like national schedule.
Yeah.
So if they did lose, that was one. But no, he's been good. He's probably going to be the number 1 pick in the NBA draft. So anytime you play against a player like at that caliber on that type of a program, even though you're at home, speaking about U of A, that's a tall order, and that's going to be a tough matchup. But
That was a rowdy gym during that game. Did you get to watch any of that game?
yeah,
Oh
they
my
were like
God.
I wish we could get like that, but I'm telling you
Buena?
that.
Why isn't Buena looking like the McHale Center?
And you're right. You said it earlier that the energy of the crowd can sometimes make the away team feel like they're down 5-0 early, and that's exactly what U of A did. They jumped out to a little bit of a
Yep.
lead. I think riding on that crowd energy and
Yep.
that kind of stuff.
It's
so it
different
does
in
make a
basketball.
difference.
The fans are right there.
Yeah.
You know, in the
Well,
student
if you've ever been to the
section.
McHale Center, it's a smaller gym, and it gets very loud very quickly in the McHale
Well,
Center.
just speaking about Buena, like the student section when it's rock, I've seen the student
Oh,
section
yeah.
rocking. That's why we went to the other side to film, so we get the student section. By the way, student section. But
It took
the-
you
I need to
fourth
step
quarter.
up. I
It
need to
took
step
you the
up.
fourth quarter to show
But
up in
it's-
that game.
And again, I never played basketball, but I gotta assume having a conversation with someone eye to eye that's yelling at your face, like that gets into your head a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
It makes some players better. for
Yeah,
sure.
no, it's a big deal, and college basketball will be the biggest indicator of that. Most of the time, the home team wins.
The
That's
University of
just
New
how it
Mexico
goes.
every year goes into the NCAA tournament as a 3 seed or higher because of that home field advantage.
You
And
can-
as soon as they get
yeah.
onto a neutral site, they're like, "What happened in New
Right,
Mexico?"
right,
You
right.
know about New Mexico? Their gym is buried underground. So
Really?
it's actually the loudest thing in sports. Is when you go to University of New Mexico, yeah, they have an underground gym, and so it just gets nuts inside that gym. That's why New Mexico never loses at home because of the home field advantage,
Yeah.
or home court advantage. Excuse me.
Yeah, a lot of good teams like your Dukes, even U of A is like that. Like, of course, if another powerhouse team comes, you know, that's going to be more of a toss-up game. But even in those games, winning on the road in basketball should be really tough.
Yeah, oh, the
And
the
because
line
of that
distraction at
energy,
the free throw
yeah.
line. You got Michael Phelps out there to speedo, shaking his
Yeah.
gold medals at people. Still my favorite thing ever. So,
Anyway, great questions, Dave. Yes, I have not seen Cooper Flag. That's why I passed it over to Coach Dennis Baker. Thank you so much for coming on the
Yes,
show,
sir.
Coach.
Yeah, he's a little bit better than our Cooper Flag. Just
Ah,
a little.
come on
he's
now.
pretty.
Barely.
He's literally LeBron.
Okay, but
6'9", like he flies up the court.
but we figured out that you guys have the better
He can
booker
shoot
in
better
Arizona,
than
so it's
LeBron
okay.
at this point in his career. Yeah. What was that?
I said, but we figured out you boys have the best booker in Arizona, so no problem.
Yeah.
God, Devin Booker's going to get this.
Hopefully so, man. Hopefully he'll. Hey, let me check out this other Booker that's taking
Well,
my
that's
name, man.
that's
Come
the only
come
thing
on
because
out here.
I'm with. So he grew up a Clippers fan, whatever. But we're in Arizona, so he watches the
Interesting.
Suns.
I
He
like
watches
the Clippers
Suns
for a long
now.
time.
And so anytime I watch basketball, it's the Suns. So inherently, I become kind of, and I don't really watch NBA basketball, but I
A
become a
Suns
Suns
fan because-
fan.
yeah.
That's
And I'm just
exactly what
like,
happened to me.
every single year, I'm like, Devin Booker's going to go off in the playoffs. And he did last year, but they just couldn't get it done. I'm like,
Well, we've had lots of discussions about what is wrong with the Phoenix Suns. But
Speaking of discussions,
Yeah.
we're going to not actually discuss, so that's a terrible transition, but it's time because he's ranting, he's raving. That's what we call Dave, and it's time for Dave's diatribe. Dave, take it
we're
away.
not there yet. You're going to need to do the thing today.
You got to do the thing.
All right,
What's the
I would
thing?
like, I
Especially
would,
because Coach Baker's on this show.
I would like to remind the audience that the thoughts and opinions and views of Dave Davies don't reflect that of his co-broadcaster, head coach Dennis
Oh,
Baker.
Lord.
Synergy HomeCare, Texas Roadhouse, Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, Cool FM Live Sports,
Buena
or Sierra Vista
Basketball.
Golf Center, Buena Basketball, or anything like that. Dave, take it away.
All right, I'm going to do. I'm going to do this as delicately.
Do
as I
not
can.
reflect.
I'm going to do this as delicately as I can. So, right now, they are in negotiations. The PGA Tour and Live Golf are in negotiations to merge these two entities because it needs to be done because golf is fractured right now. And all the major players on both sides are sitting at this table right now. Tiger Woods, all the big players in this, the Saudis that own Live Golf, they're all sitting at this table. There's a person that's missing at that table right now, and that person is Rory McIlroy. And everyone wants to know why Rory McIlroy is not a part of these negotiations between the PGA Tour and Live Golf. This goes back to Rory McIlroy almost got divorced from his beautiful wife, Erica Stroll, about a year ago. And there was about a month-long window where they thought they were going to get divorced. Because the rumors were that Rory McIlroy was enjoying himself off the golf course with another person, a CBS reporter by the name of Amanda Balianis. Well, Amanda Balianis took a little, what's the word I'm looking for? She got a little upset that she was the one that was being thrown under the bus and the possible reason for Rory McIlroy's divorce. And Amanda Balianis has come out and mentioned that it was not her that was spending off-course time with Rory McIlroy, but it was this caddy, Harry Diamond. And so Amanda took a great distress to the fact that she was being the one that was being thrown under that bus, and not the truth of the situation, that he was actually hanging out with his friend Harry Diamond, his 7-year caddy and best friend. And so it brings us back to where this started with. Why isn't Rory McIlroy sitting at that table negotiating for the PGA Tour? Well, the people that own Live Golf are Saudis. They're from the Middle East, and their religious views might not find Rory McIlroy's off-course behavior so favorable. And so it is best on the PGA Tour to make sure that the Saudis and Live Golf do not find out that Rory McIlroy really enjoys spending time with his best friend, Harry Diamond. And so they're keeping Rory McIlroy as far away from these negotiations as possible because, again, his off-course behavior might not fall in line with their religious views over there in Live Golf. So that is why Rory McIlroy is not sitting there negotiating with the PGA Tour right now. So just a little things that you're never going to hear about that are pretty true. That's all I have to say about that.
I did not know that.
I don't think it's true.
Oh, this comes directly out of the mouth of Amanda Balianis, who absolutely took slight to the fact that she was the beard to this situation. Because it wasn't her. She made it very, very clear that
Yes,
she was just a face that was
I
put on.
told you be careful with rumors and speculation.
It's not. It came out of her mouth.
Yeah,
that's out of the horse's mouth.
So a slighted person has something bad to say about someone else?
Slighted.
That's
What a
never
surprise.
happened.
She wasn't.
Thank goodness we gave that disclaimer, Dave. I cannot say I enjoyed that diatribe at all, and I do apologize. But
People hate the truth.
Well, yeah, can't handle the truth.
I'm
huh?
not so sure anyone cared. But here we go.
I know. I'm
Thank you, everyone, for joining us at
Great
the Sierra Vista Golf Center. At Pueblo Del Sol, thank you to Synergy HomeCare, providing non-medical home care for people that struggle with activities of daily living. And thank you to Texas Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
Dave, tell them what they can win.
Yeah, again, you mentioned that you watched this show today. You're going to Roadhouse today. I watched Paula Dave's ugly faces and Coach Baker's beautiful face on the show today. You get free fried pickles or potato skins. I don't know what else to do.
Leave that part out.
Yeah, let's not bring that up again. But anyway, I just found it to be very interesting information. But thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we will see you very soon on the basketball court.
Go Colts.